finished all them niggas, bro.
Damn!
That's Dominique Wilkins. Oh, he always jump off 2 feet.
Real talk grinding, yeah we shining. We ain't lying, yeah we rising to the top, man. We grinding real hard, no layoff. Going hard like LeBron to playoff. Let me tell you real talk from the takeoff. We be turned to the man, can't you see it? Young black kings trying to succeed, love my team. Merch cheesy, definitely RTTV. Real Talk TV. We stay the same, we stay the same, we stay the same. Real Talk TV. We ain't gon' change, you ain't gon' change, you ain't gon' change. Real Talk TV. It's part of the game, it's part of the game, it's part of the game. Real Talk TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's Real Talk TV. Man, we back with another banger, man. Y'all, this is a basketball video. This is NBA Legends explain how crazy good Larry Bird was. I know we did one video on Larry Bird and it did crazy numbers and they got a good outcome on that, man. So make sure y'all like this video, subscribe to the channel if y'all new, man. Let's get it. Larry Bird.
The man from Indiana who gave us an 80s to remember by lighting up a battle between the Celtics and the Lakers will forever be heralded as one of the players who saved basketball. Bird and Magic's coast-to-coast war and jaw-dropping styles gave the NBA the boost it needed before the emergence of Michael Jordan. But for Bird, with 3 titles, 2 finals MVPs, and 3 consecutive MVP seasons, some forget just how good he really was. Today we look at NBA players explaining how crazy good Larry Bird was in his prime. Before we get into all that, if you want to win a PS5 with NBA 2K20 notifications to enter the giveaway. When speaking of the NBA's greatest of all time, there's always 5 or 10 guys that hit the list. Each carries a different generation. From 50s Bill Russell to 60s Wilt Chamberlain or 70s Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 80s Magic Johnson, 90s Michael Jordan, 2000s Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, to today's LeBron James. Some get overlooked when they shouldn't, for example, Tim Duncan. And others get left behind because of the lack of titles, like Charles Barkley. What happens when all these players talk of another great as if he was like no other? Larry Bird was lauded by most of these legends, because he was one of them too. He was consistent, tough, offensively masterful, and one of the first big guys to shoot many three-point shots. LeBron James spoke candidly in an interview about how he was one of the few guys ever to win a three-point contest with a warm-up shirt on. LeBron referring to the time Larry won his 3rd consecutive three-point contest. James continued,
for young guys that don't know him, they think of Larry Bird as a jump shooter, but he was so much more than that. He was a passer. He averaged double-digit rebounds. He defended, he took charges. And, he's a straight-up complete basketball player, and me as a small forward.
Later in his career, LeBron adapted his game to the new way of basketball, which was a charge led by the Golden State Warriors in shooting more from behind the arc. LeBron was considered a big guy, but began shooting more threes, and no doubt was heavily influenced by the fact that Larry Legend had already achieved this feat in the 80s. In another interview, when asked about his top 3 of all time, LeBron put Larry Bird firmly in there with MJ and Dr. J.
Oh my God, 3. Larry Bird, Dr. J. Michael.
Shaq had a very different opinion on Larry initially. He said he disliked Bird because he would...
Top 3 players of all time.
LeBron James said that.
Hey, exactly. You know he just playing.
I don't know. Dr. J is top 3 all time.
Yeah, Dr. J.
He thought, how did this regular-looking guy do everything?
Never really had a chance to play against Larry Bird, but I actually used to hate Larry Bird. I hated.
Shaq soon realized as he grew older and wiser that despite getting the luck of the Irish with the Celtics, Larry made his own luck when it came to shooting the ball. Shaq, at 7'1", of course, had a completely different style of game at the time. He was built to the max and used brute force to impose his will on the defense and rack up the points, blocks, and rebounds. Shaq was also faster than most give him credit for, particularly in the early part of his career.
O'Neal the rebound, now the Magic final shot chance. O'Neal runs the floor, takes it over.
You gotta get out the way. Dude got out the way.
Notoriously slow, which was all the more testament to his skill set, but his basketball IQ was just on a different planet. He once sank a shot from behind the backboard, which O'Neal chalked down to a fluke following a bet with his friend.
He made that with y'all net.
That's in the game.
That's wild.
Shaq never really got the chance to play against Larry Bird, which is unfortunate, because I don't think it would have taken him so long to recognize greatness. On the other hand, six-time NBA champion Kareem Abdul-Jabbar battled Bird on numerous occasions while playing with the Showtime Lakers. Bird got the better of him in the 1984 finals, and took another two in a decade that was largely dominated by the purple and gold. Kareem spoke about how Larry might have been the best he had played against, and said
But how good was Bird? People, I don't think people look at him and think, oh, he's a white guy, slow guy.
Chubby white guy, he wore us out, man. You know, because he just, this muscle here, the one between his ears, that was his best, you know, because he made the three-pointers, and he had assists and rebounded, steals. He was always at the right place at the right time on the court. You know, one of the great players, you know, I had the opportunity to play against.
11-time All-Star Charles Barkley, a regular season MVP during a star-filled 90s, was once asked, "Are you better than Bird?" And he took a long pause before answering, which is very telling.
Am I better than Bird? Oh man, that's a great question.
Most great players respond immediately with how they think they're the best because you have to have that kind of mentality in order to get to the top. Instead, Barkley answered,
I'm a better rebounder. I'm probably a better defender. He's a better shooter, obviously. You know, a lot of people talk about who's better.
But you have to have that mentality.
No, you know.
Bro.
Like,
Bro, you know it's crazy.
I think, you know, it's a team game.
I think deep down he knew that Bird was a better player.
Bro, they just
And for
asked
someone as
him
good-
individually, who's better? This nigga just said it's a team game. Bro, this nigga just said it's a team game.
Nah, he was trying to say, like, you know who's better than who.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have asked him something, yeah, like, you know. Yeah, like he said, you know who you're better
Right, yeah,
than.
you know.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not
It's
gonna
Larry
admit
Bird.
it. I'm not gonna admit it, but
It's Larry Bird.
Bro.
You know, it's a team game.
I think deep
You know,
down
it's a
he knew
team
that Bird
game.
was a better player. And for someone as good as Chuck to be stumped like that in an interview shows you how heavy the weight of Larry Bird's legacy was. Former teammate Kevin McHale also references how unreal Bird was to play with. McHale was Bird's right-hand man while playing with Boston, claiming the Sixth Man of the Year award twice, along with 7 All-Star appearances. His story of a specific Detroit game is fascinating. There was a bit of time left on the clock, and we had beaten Detroit, and I just scored 56, and I'm walking off the court, and Larry said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm done." I said, "I'm exhausted. I'm tired." Larry goes, "Don't do it, man, because when I get that hot, I'm not coming out of the game." A week later, he got that hot. He looked at me at about 50 points, and he looked at me and said, "I told you." The pair would go on to win 3 titles together, and McHale would continue to tell stories that live on in Celtics folklore forevermore. A highlight being a throwback from Bird's brutal trash talk at a game in Phoenix.
We have a play, out of bounds play, I'm taking it out, and Larry says, I'm going to bust off the play, and I'm just going to come out, and I'm going to shoot a 3, and I'm like, we're down 2. I'm like, no, don't do that. I'm like, let's shoot a 2, please. Go to the hole and try to get fouled. Let's just get into overtime, see if we can't win this game. And Larry says, nah, I'm just going to bust a 3 on him. I'm like, oh my God. So he tells the Phoenix bench, he tells the coaches, yeah, I'm just fixing to bust a 3 on you guys and just go home. I'm tired of it. And he gets the ball, jumps out, busts the play, comes out, gets the ball at the slot, shoots the ball. As the ball's in the air, he kind of turns towards the Phoenix bench and yells, "Told you so!"
Bro.
Larry's mental game was such that he could just
I'm tired of playing this game.
Bro.
I'm just gonna get a 3.
Nigga, sit here until you go home. Probably
All
finna
I
end
want to do
this
is
shit,
hit
y'all.
this shit.
And go home, bro.
I just want to hit it and go home.
I just want to feel how this fame and then go home.
open up any team and tear them apart. He would use psychological warfare on a regular basis. Players speak of his toughness not because of his size or physicality, but because of his mind. He would impose his will on the opposition and could force them off their game just as much as he could switch on his. A mastermind at trash talk tactics, Larry Bird will forever go down in history as one of the greatest trash talkers of all time. And in the 80s, that mattered. With players such as Bill Laimbeer, Hakeem Olajuwon, Magic Johnson, and the eventual emergence of Michael Jordan, Bird did what was necessary in order to gain that mental edge that took him over the top.
Bro, what the fuck?
James
That was a
Worthy,
real life
the
dime.
1988 Finals MVP, simply stated that Larry was trash talking all the time, but the problem was he could back it up.
Yeah, he could back it up. So when you're arrogant and you can back it up, you're not arrogant, you're just good. And Larry was good.
Even Worthy's former teammate Magic Johnson spoke on the fact that he had a real dislike for Larry Bird as far back as their college playing days for the very
So
reason
he was
that Larry
talking
would constantly get the better of
So
him.
you was talking
Johnson
shit and he was just like, okay,
during
bet.
the press build up for the Broadway play about the
He was
pair
like,
that
you know,
after
he
he
can
beat
back it
Larry in
up.
the NCAA championship game in 1979,
You can
the
ignore
most
that.
watched college basketball game ever, by the time he got to the Lakers, they were 0-8 to the Celtics.
You had to hate the Celtics.
The Celtics were whooping their ass.
Facts. Lakers just not caught up when Brown won that
man.
thing.
Oh.
They tied now.
So they were whooping their ass all them years.
That's years. That's 365 days.
Years. All them banners up there we see, that was before we was alive.
Definitely.
That was good. That was before we was alive.
Ooh, it really was.
Because
Magic got
when I,
5 of them, though.
Yeah, Magic started fucking
you
them up.
had to hate the Celtics to beat them because when
you
I
gotta
got
hate 'em
here,
to beat 'em.
you had to hate the Celtics to beat them because when I got here, we were 0-4, I think 8, and then the first time against the Celtics in championship series, and then we lost that in '84. That made us 0-9, I believe.
And later is quoted as saying, "When I played, Larry Bird was the only one I feared." Not bad when hearing it from a 5-time champion and one of the true great basketball players of all time. At the 2019 NBA Awards, Johnson received the NBA Lifetime Achievement Award, but it was shared with guess who? Larry Bird. Bird was simply the king of talking the talk, then actually going out and walking the walk.
Listen, man. Retirement is great for you because you've never talked this long.
Dominique Wilkins recounts one of the most famous games where Larry Bird promised Kevin McHale he was going to break McHale's Wilkins recounts once.
Bro. Like they go to the niggas used to go to the hole.
Because you've never
No,
talked
when niggas
this
used to
long.
go to the hole.
Bro, look how many people down there waiting on him.
Look at all the niggas that
The entire
All the
team.
niggas- He did this, that's how you know you did it. All over the track. All over the Did he finish this?
Yeah, he done this all them niggas, bro.
Damn!
That's Dominique Wilkins.
Oh, he always jump off 2 feet.
I think it's that.
He always jump off 2 feet.
They know he dunked on these niggas. They knew he was gonna do. That's why I don't like this. You know what I'm saying? He said, they knew he was gonna jump to you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I say something. They're like, right now, it's Look what he
Kevin
used to do.
McHale, he was going to break
Look at
McHale's record against Atlanta. Wilkins said,
In that game, that you talk about that patented step back, he was doing that step back and he switched it to his left hand 3 separate times in that game. And hit a 3. He was scoring anywhere on the floor that he wanted.
Is this when the
it was
he
said anywhere he wanted
He was giving each other 5.
So did you get in a fight with them after the game? Forget Larry. Did you beat anybody on the bench? Because when you giving 5, he's scoring on me.
Every one of those
You're my
guys
team.
got fined $3,000.
Larry's legend lives on because of the greats that want to tell them. The reason there's a list of top 10 players who consistently call Bird their toughest opponent or one of their all-time greats is because Larry himself is in that list. Larry is a top 10 baller of all time. His style doesn't matter when his skill sinks the opposition. Because above all, the opposition will remember. They'll remember the steals, the shots, the plays, and the trash talk. They'll remember the Bird from the early 80s, not from the early 90s. The Larry who stepped out on the court in his warm-up jacket and made Michael Jordan recoil in envy. MJ announced,
He ain't took off his top yet. I didn't see when he took off his top.
well, when Bird did, it was all business. He may as well have taken a mop and bucket to the floor because he was about to clean up. He was an impetuous, never-relenting opponent that took the life from anyone who stepped onto his battlefield. The consensus is a resounding stamp of legendary status for the man who will forever go down in the history books as one of the greatest ever players, and arguably the greatest ever Celtic to grace the court. What did you think of Larry Bird in his prime?
That's tough. That's why I can't have KD over him, man. I can't have KD over her. Yeah, I don't think so, bro.
Oh my God!
Bro. Bro, this thing ain't crazy.
Bro.
Hey, y'all, let us know what y'all think about that, man. Y'all, that's NBA Legends react to how good Larry Bird was. Y'all let us know what y'all think in the comment section. Make sure y'all like this video. If y'all enjoy, subscribe to the channel, man. We going to the top. Let's get it. It's Real Talk TV.